coming to you live from the Putasos podcast.
Oh no! Just slapped him like that!
Welcome back to Putasos podcast, episode number 15. We have a super special guest. He's a Bellator vet. He's been on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a UFC vet. And he is your current karate combat undisputed heavyweight champ of the world. Smilin Sam Alvey. Thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, absolutely, guys. Thank you for wanting me on.
Yeah, man. So we have a ton of stuff to talk about today. But the first thing I want to talk about is, how does it feel, man, to be the best karate combat guy on planet Earth right now?
It's amazing. It is amazing. At this time last year, it's funny. This time last year, I didn't know karate combat was a thing. It was still growing. It was about April or May is when I first heard about it, when I first watched it, when I first started falling in love with the sport. And I've been all about it ever since. I haven't missed a karate combat, premier event yet. Yeah. Now they're champion. Now they get to watch me, and I am so excited to represent this sport.
Yeah, man. The sport is so cool. I mean, just kind of like the whole spectacle of karate combat is like something I've never seen before. And for your card, the last one that you fought on, I mean, everyone was there. I mean, you had all the UFC stars there. You had Pettis and Benson on the same card. You had Michael White there. There was a ton of cool people there. So, yeah, man.
Oh, I wish I would have been able to meet more of them. Usually after I fight, I go out and I say hi to the audience. I broke my hand, and so they sent me to the hospital right after. I didn't get a chance to say hi to anyone.
We saw that video actually with the guy screaming in the background. By the way, I'm Sam as well. This is Joe.
How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, Joe and Sam. So we're the ones that do the podcast. He's the mastermind.
I'm the producer, like the producer and such,
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, again, great to have you on, brother. Quick question for you, bro. So obviously you've been doing MMA your whole life. I know you wrestled in high school and stuff like that, but what made you want to go over to karate combat?
I couldn't get anyone else to fight me. BKFC is filled with a bunch of cowards. They jerked me around for the better part of a year. I said yes to everyone. I couldn't get anyone to Russia fight. Anyone in Russia to fight me. I couldn't get anyone to fight me. Which is, I've got the one MMA fight now before karate combat.
Yeah. And
I fought a guy who's 275 pounds. I had to sacrifice size to find somebody willing to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get anyone to say yes. So when I found out about karate combat, I started talking with them. Started saying, hey, I would love to represent you guys. I'd love to come fight for you. And they were very, forthcoming. They said, all right, this is what we can do. This is what we're going to do. And we'll make sure someone's there to fight you. I said, all right, count me in. And so after a little negotiating, we came up with the best plan and best time to do it.
Yeah, man. And your first karate combat fight was a first round KO.
Yeah, first minute knockout.
Yeah, first minute knockout. So that was a good one. What made you want to go up to heavyweight? Because I know for the better part of your career, you were at middleweight. You kind of danced in light heavyweight. I know you even went as low as welterweight at one point. But what made you want to bump up to heavyweight? Was it just like the...
Well, so in karate combat, it's a very foreign organization. It's not run by a lot of Americans. So heavyweight is 205. So I'm fighting at light heavyweight as far as MMA would be concerned.
Okay.
They just call it heavyweight over there.
It's funny because I was looking up, because I was trying to figure out how the weight class system went for karate combat. And it said no champion for light heavyweight. So I wasn't sure if there was like not an inaugural champion yet. Okay, so you're fighting at 205, but it's heavyweight.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and they might add a super heavyweight, or maybe they'll add a 95 weight class. I'm not sure. But for now, it goes 85, which is middleweight, heavyweight, which is 205.
Yeah. And the guy you fought, Mr. Ross, he was undefeated at middleweight, correct?
Yeah, he was the middleweight champion.
Yeah.
He was kind of having a problem with me finding somebody to fight him too at middleweight. So he said, I'll go up to light heavyweight. And then they tried to find some guys that were willing to fight him, and nobody wanted to step up. So I said, I'm in. Give me the opportunity. Yeah. So I fought an undefeated champion, and what a hell of a fight it was.
Yeah, man. I watched the whole fight a couple times, but really outside of the first round was somewhat close, but outside of that, you dominated the whole fight.
That's where I'm at. Like, I didn't think there was going to be a sixth round. I thought, the fifth round ended and I celebrated. I took my mouth guard out. I was waving to fans, taking photos, stuff like that. And then they told me, you got to go back in and pull around. And said, oh, grab up guard, second back, jump back down to the pit. But and watching it, I agree. First round was close. I think I still had it because that last second ground up.
Yep.
But maybe not. He was more active than me. But I won rounds 2, 3, 4, 5. Or at least I thought so.
Easy. I thought the same. I felt like the whole fight he really couldn't get like his rhythm going. And the question I wanted to ask you, because what I noticed from watching from the outside looking in, is I felt like your clinch game and just kind of the grappling that game and like the whole aspect really helped you in that fight. How much did MMA help you transition over to karate combat? Because the rules are a little different.
Yeah, so more than MMA helping me, just my experience in combat sports has helped me. I have over 80 fights. Most of them are professional. And what a lot of people don't know is I'm 6-1 in Muay Thai. So I've in professional Muay Thai, I've competed in everything, every situation. I've been everywhere. I have been training for this for the last 17 or 18 years now. So any position, anything I could possibly be in, I've been there already. And so it was more than being able to work myself on the ground and work the position. I've just been in every position more than just about everyone else has been.
Yeah, and the rule set for karate combat's so unique because it's like the square that you have all your walls, the 45-degree angles, and if you're on the wall, it's still considered a standing fight at that point.
Yep. If you're on that wall, you're considered standing, and you can do whatever you want. But as soon as you get your knee or butt to the ground, then you get a 5-second count. I get 5 seconds of damage I can apply to them.
Oh yeah.
But if I get a takedown where my knees are on the ground, it's an automatic stand up. There's no more. There's no 5-second rule.
Yeah, and I saw that you were definitely taking advantage of those 5 seconds, my boy.
I got 5 seconds to do it, to throw as much as I can.
Yeah, I loved watching the fight, man. How do you like karate combat compared to MMA?
It is so much fun. I honest to goodness, I like watching the fights more in karate combat. Now the disconnect is I don't have all of the athletes in karate combat memorized yet. Like I don't have a favorite this or a favorite that. Like in MMA, I know so many of the fighters. I've watched them fight so many times. Karate combat will get there. It's just not there yet. And like I said, because they're such a foreign promotion, I can't pronounce most of the names of the athletes. It's like in the UFC. If you're from Dagestan, I don't know your name. I just know you're the guy with the unibrow, or you're the guy with the beard and no mustache.
Yeah.
I stopped knowing names and just look at the picture. In karate combat's filled with a lot of foreign fighters with a bunch of names I haven't memorized yet.
Yeah.
But the fights themselves are more fun to watch than the UFC.
Yeah, no, they are. I saw this stat that said karate combat has like a 70% finish ratio throughout all the fights.
You know, the boring part of any fight, I love wrestling, I love jiu-jitsu, but the boring part of any fight is the wrestling and jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
It is when the fight goes to the ground, there's always, oh, it's down, and then it's like, okay, wish it wasn't. And it's, you know, there's a cool jiu-jitsu transition or a dominant wrestling slam or something. Those are fantastic. But as soon as the position is settled, everybody wants to go up again.
Crowd starts booing.
Right. And in me, I love that stuff. I'm almost a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I've wrestled my whole life, and it is the boring part of every fight. So karate combat just took the 5 seconds that people still care about, and they let you get the damage.
Seriously, that's a great point, actually.
Yeah. This guy's a wrestler as well.
Yeah, I wrestled in high school and I wrestled in college too, but a little bit different than your level. You're notch up on me. But that's cool, man. What question for you? What do you walk around at? Because I know you fight at 205, but what are you walking around?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm about 235.
Oh, okay.
So if they open up like an actual true heavyweight division, or do you plan on going up, or do you like where you're at right now?
I'm fine going up. Like I can compete with the bigger guys, but they really are some big dudes. I'm a 235 who can I could make 85 if I needed to. And there are people that are like 400 pounds that can make, 265 if they needed to. And when we get in the cage, and I've worked with them my whole career, people that are 6'5", 6'6", 200 and whatever pounds. And there's some big dudes. I'd be very willing to fight any of them. Never said no. Based on my last MMA fight was against a guy who was 275 pounds. So I'm willing to do it, but man, there's some big.
Yeah, well, I mean, you fought the middleweight champ. We all know, and you know that you can make middleweight. Is that something that the door's still open to? Is that closed off? Do you like where you're at in your career?
So I've always said, if I will fight for free, but you're gonna have to pay me to cut weight. If you want me to make 85, you're gonna. It's gonna cost more than I'm making right now.
That's a solid cut.
Yeah,
That's a solid cut.
yeah, and so
50 pounds.
it's 235 to 185. That'd be a 50-pound cut.
I've done stuff like, I mean, most of my career I've walked between 225 and 235, somewhere in there. Right now I'm a solid 235. I'm not 225 ever again. Since leaving the UFC, I've just lived in the weight room. I've had to change my training a little bit. I just leg pressed 1,000 pounds yesterday. My new record.
Oh shit!
And I did it yesterday. I leg pressed three for three. My legs feel like killing today. But
how many plates is
lived
that?
in the weight room. I gained a good 15, 20 pounds since leaving the UFC.
Nice.
And I could still make 85. They'd have to pay me to do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, speaking of training, how did your training camp go for this? We saw, because we're big UFC nuts. We follow MMA in general, but we saw that you were training with like Sean Strickland for part of your camp. Stuff like that.
I did almost all of my camp out here in Tennessee. Guardian MMA is my gym that I work out at every day. Melissa MMA, my friend Tom Galicchio, his run. He stood up with me at my wedding. He's about 2 hours away from me. I go and teach at his gym on Wednesdays.
Cool.
And it's some of my best training gets done down there as well. But being a bigger dude, being an experienced guy, Tennessee does not have that many people that can really compete with me. So the last 2 weeks of my camp, I went out to California. I spent a week out in California, and then the following week I spent out with Strickland and Curtis and guys up there, just working with some bigger guys that can really beat me up.
What part of California is that?
Temecula, about an hour.
Oh, Temecula. My grandma lives there. We're in California.
Beautiful area.
Yeah,
Where I spent most of my career. I lived right in there. I had a house in Lake Elsinore. The gym, Dan Henderson's Athletic Fitness Center is in Temecula.
Yeah, there you go, man.
That's cool.
Well, we saw after the fight, well, not after the fight, but in the hospital, you want Darren Till next. What's up with that? Tell us your thought process behind that one.
You know, honestly, so two things. One, I've always wanted to fight Michael Bisping. He was always the goal of mine. It just never happened. We were different stages, the whole time. And now that fight's never going to happen. He is commentating. He's doing bigger, better things by himself. It'll never happen. But who's the next best UK fighter? Darren Till. I've thrown his name out there. I've always been a fan of his, and I just consider him the next Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
But it didn't come to me to call him out until I heard Ross Levine. Prior to our fight, he was making posts, but you know what? I'll fight Darren Till next. I'll fight Darren Till at 185 or 205, wherever. And I kind of just stole his call. I thought it'd make him wait. I thought it might happen. And he might.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Yeah,
He is.
That's a big boy, too.
He is. He fought 170, but he was always too big for 170. Went up to 85, and he's probably a lot like me. He could fight 205 if he wants to.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a big boy. He walks around over 200 pounds.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Easy. Cool. We also we saw a little clip on your Instagram where you were talking about how you're still in the UFC video game. Hey, so you get paid every time someone plays with your character?
I think so.
Something like that.
And I'm pretty sure I do. I've gotten checks in the past from the video game, and I've heard somewhere that it's based on which character gets played the most. So I might be exaggerating on if I get paid or not, but I think I do. I'm sure enough that I'll tell people I do.
We were talking about it. We were saying we're gonna play with you all day today or tomorrow. Yeah. If you do get paid, we'll run it up.
I'm like 90% sure I do.
Yeah, we'll get a 100-minute tournament. Sam Alvey only.
Double tournament. Do you play any video games at all?
I just playing Gears of War here.
Gears of War? Okay.
Yeah, went back to my kids are out of town for a few days, and so I'll bring. I don't play video games when they're on. I don't want them to play video games. So they're gone. I'm bringing them all out. I'm playing I love Nintendo's my favorite. I'm a big Switch fan. Zelda, Mario, all that. Smash Bros. Greatest Smash Bros. Player in the world right here.
Smash Bros.
But I
haven't played
I would say 360 in a long time. So I whipped it out. I got a Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm just gonna be tearing through them.
Those are classics.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what's up, man. Well, hey, what's because I know you're 2 fights into karate combat. I'm assuming you want to stick around and defend your belt as long as you can. What does your next couple of years look like?
I'm gonna be champion for as long as I can be. I'm gonna hold my title. I'm gonna make sure I can make a living while fighting and just be the greatest karate. They're called karateka. Would be the greatest karateka that's ever been. In 15 years from now, people are going to be talking about me like they talk about Chuck Norris right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Do you have anything outside of the fight world going on? Like, do you do businesses? Do you do investments?
Yeah, so my wife and I, we started a food truck this last summer.
Oh.
And the name of our truck is We're the Food Fight Truck.
Yeah.
We make deep dish pizza, jambalaya, mac and cheese. We just have a real good time with it. And it's a lot more complicated than I would have thought, going into it. Yeah. But we're figuring it out. We're making a profit with it, and hopefully I'll be able to make that very successful.
That's cool. We just had our first UFC fighter on 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
Alex Perez, but that's one thing we were talking about because he was like, the fight game is great. He's like, but you gotta kind of build your stuff outside of it too. So
yeah. Right. No, 100%, because the fight game will last until you're broken, until you can't do it anymore. And then you got nothing left. I was blessed with a long career in the UFC. Hopefully, I'm going to be blessed with a long career here, and profitable career here with karate combat. And we'll see whatever happens next. But I'm incredibly excited for whatever happens in the world of Smilin and his family next.
Yeah, man. I know I've been watching you for a while. I started I watched UFC back in the day. My favorite fighter used to be Rashad Evans. But I stopped watching. I stopped watching for a while, and then I picked back up in 2014. That was when Conor kind of started his run. But I know that's when you got officially signed over to the UFC. So yeah, I've seen your whole career, man. It's super cool to have you in front of us because you're always one of those guys who's good attitude, always smiling. You're a solid dude, good dude outside of the cage. So yeah, and we just really appreciate you coming on. It means a lot to us for sure.
Oh, you're very welcome. I realized I wouldn't have had a job without people like you that wanted to talk to me, wanted to see me fight. So anytime I can give back to a creator, I am all about it.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
Do you have that belt with you right there?
I do.
Where's the belt at?
Let's check it out.
Right on my kitchen table.
And you said you're in Tennessee?
Yeah, just outside of Nashville.
Okay. Cool.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh, I love it.
That must feel good.
Oh, it does. I wear it everywhere. Oh, I feed my horses while wearing it.
Yeah, dude, that is freaking awesome.
Dude, that is so sick. Dude, we're going to have to come out and watch you.
Oh, yeah. You want to watch me feed my horses or watch me?
No, watch you. Either or. Stop at the food truck, watch you feed the horses, touch the bell.
We were actually in Vegas when you fought. We had that was when we did our interview with our first fighter, and then we went to go watch Leon versus Colby.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out where karate combat was. I think we ended up finding out. We ended up finding out too late. But yeah, next time you fight, we'll if it's assuming it's in Vegas or in California, we'll be
in the United States.
Yeah.
At least.
Most of them are.
Okay.
They have experimented outside of the States too.
That's good.
Is it too early to even ask you when you want to fight next? Are you planning on recovering and fighting early? What's the plan for you?
I want to fight as much as I can this next year, but my hand is currently broken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got another 3 or 4 weeks of not really using that, and then I'll be able to get back into training. I'm just trying hard not to get fat right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you being on light heavyweight has you eating healthy right now.
Oh man, I've been light heavyweight for my last 2 fights. I've had 2 miserable weight cuts. So I got to change something.
And you got a food truck too, dude. So.
I think that's why my weight cuts are going so poorly.
When do you think if you had to try to pick a date for yourself, when would you want to fight next?
February. If I can get it done.
Oh,
that's
okay.
quick.
All right. Yeah.
I fight a lot of times when I'm not supposed to. I just love those.
Dude, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, for me, it's not. I'm the guy I've had the most fights in a year at the UFC. I fought over 12 or 13 times in a year prior to UFC. I'm a guy, I like to compete. I only get paid when I fight, so I want to fight as much as I can.
Yeah, and now you're the guy, so everyone's coming for you, man.
Now I'm the guy. People want to fight me.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So you said you have to get paid to go down the middleweight. I know I just started watching Karate Combat. I would really love to see you go down the middleweight. You already beat the guy. I would, one belt's nice, but I think two would feel a little bit better, no?
Yeah, but what doesn't feel better is losing 50 or 60 pounds. That doesn't feel better. That's the rough spot. That's where life sucks, and I don't want to. And if I win the belt, then I have to defend the belt. Then I'm
And then you have to keep cutting the weight.
If Darren Till's not the next guy, do you have any idea who's going to be the next guy for you?
Actually, one of the current rostered UFC Karate Combat guy was he said he's gunning for me. He's coming for me. I couldn't tell you his name. I know that's one of the four guys. He's like a nice guy, but there was an N and a J in his name. I don't know what that is. But okay, do you want? I think he's like 6'4" or something. So he'd be taller than me. He's a big boy. He's fought in Karate Combat. I think he's 3-1 or 4-2, something like that. Karate Combat right now.
Yeah.
And, if he wants it, I'm in.
Dude, that's what's up, man.
Heck yeah. So, how many kids do you have? You were saying your kids are out of town.
Yeah, I have 6 kids.
6 kids.
Boys, girls?
Yeah. Us Alveys were very fertile.
Boys, girls, boys and girls?
Yeah, 2 girls, 4 boys.
I just had my first boy earlier this year, so
Congratulations.
Yeah, or last year, I guess. Yeah, he's about to be 5 months, but dad life's wild.
Wonderful. It is the greatest feeling in the world. I got so addicted to it, I just keep having them.
Oh, I went from wanting no kids, now I want like all of them. So.
Oh, man, you're right. The moment he was born, he was like, all right, I understand life now. You are life.
It almost feels like your purpose kind of thing,
Oh, 100%. It is like I will do whatever I can to make sure you never feel a moment of pain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Would you encourage them to get into combat sports as well?
No. They have all been to the gym before they've been home. They get born, we take them to the gym, then we go home. Then they know jiu-jitsu and they're in wrestling and they kickbox. That they will do all. My oldest is 10, my youngest is 1.5. So I'm very close together, kids. But no, man, if they choose to do it, I'll be there right there showing them how to do it. Mm-hmm. But no, it is such a rough sport to make a living at.
Yeah, injuries.
Hey, injuries and luck. It is one of the few sports that it thrives on luck. You can be the most talented guy in the world, but if you get a bad judge or a stub toe, you lose the fight, and then that changes your career. It is. I tell all of my amateurs that do not rely on this to be your living, because there's too much that has to go right for you. It's not just a matter of skill. There's so much luck that is needed.
Mm-hmm. Luck.
So no, I would not wish this career on my kids.
Yeah, man. And there's good fighters in every organization. And at the end of the day, you can be better than that 99 times out of 100. But if they're better that one day.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And the UFC in the last 3 or 4 years, they changed it where it's not so much the record. It's if you're undefeated is when they want you. Like before I got in the UFC, I think my record was I was 24-4 or something close to that. Mm-hmm. And now there are people in the UFC that are 5-0. So that always what the UFC wants. They're taking them, that they're looking at boxing and saying, oh, that's what we want undefeated, still undefeated. And it's just making it next to impossible to lose a fight and then get into the UFC at a reasonable age.
Yeah, seriously.
That's tough.
How big of an impact do you think the UFC made on your career? Because obviously the UFC is like
it made my career. No, yeah, it made my career. There's nothing else that came close. I made pennies in every other organization. Bellator didn't pay. MFC, I mean, they paid more than I would make elsewhere, but it wasn't until, and nobody will make a living in anything other than the UFC.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, and they're trying to change it. One FC's paying a little more. PFL has the $1 million tournament. Belgium has just been bought out, and so there's starting to be more. But like, and I was like, I've been fighting for a long time. I fought many times as a professional for no money. I mean, literally $0 came into my wallet after I win a fight. But I got gas money. I got to see another country, or I got a hotel room. I got an experience out of it. I was happy to do it. And then the first time I fought for $1,000, like, oh my God, this is $1,000. This is the greatest thing I've ever done. This is incredible.
How old were you when that happened?
I started fighting at 21, so I would have been 24 or 25.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just, and it's like, oh, without, man, if I do this 13 times in a year, that's like $13,000 I can make. This is incredible. And so there is a long time where you're making just enough to live, and you fight and live. It's like, oh, this is awesome. But then if I just win one more, I'll be in the UFC. Don't ever rely, any fighters in your audience, don't rely on that if I win one more theory, because it's a bunch of BS and it's not going to happen that way. Yeah. Very rarely does it happen that way. And it's just a hard way to prepare for what's next, because like we're saying, as soon as you're injured, or as soon as you lose too many, or as soon as you're out of the UFC, you're back to making nothing. Unless you have found a way to make your personality sell, which I feel I did. As good as I was in the UFC, and I had a lot of wins, a lot of big wins, a lot of good fights, I made my personality seen. People like to see me fight, so they'll follow me into these other organizations. But most fighters don't do that. That's the other thing I tell all my young pros, all my amateurs. And listen, if you're gonna make the mistake of becoming a fighter, make yourself memorable. Every time you are on camera, every time somebody's paying attention to you, do something to be memorable. That doesn't mean be a jackass. That doesn't mean do anything outside of the normal. Just, you have a personality, just let your personality show. But I swear to goodness, every fighter that you see, except for the big ones, they go out there and they get the microphone and they say, I want to thank my team, I want to thank my opponent, and I'll fight whoever's next. Thank you. And nobody remembers that. That is whatever. Say anything else. You have 45 seconds on a microphone. Be loud, be voice. At one point, when I fought in Florida, I said that. Oh, sorry. Florida, I knocked out Marcin Bracknell. I got the mic and I said, your oranges are fantastic. And it is the biggest ball drop that has ever happened in my career. They loved it. The arenas loved it. For months, people played that over and over and over to me, saying, oh my God, that was hilarious. It was just, and their oranges are good. Keep them in mind. And if you aren't willing to do that side of things, and I've always felt I'm good at it, but I'm no Conor McGregor. I'm no Chael Sonnen. And I mean, if you look at both those guys, they're good, but they're not the best that have ever been. But they're probably two of the most memorable fighters that have ever been. I think the only person that has been able to be so successful without having a great personality is John Jones. And that's just, talent beats everything else, and he's got talent space. It's on a microphone. He's kind of boring. Nobody really cares to hear what he has to say.
Speaking of John Jones, who you got, him versus Stipe?
Oh, I think Jones wins easy. And I wish it wouldn't. I'm falling for Stipe. You know, Jones is great and all that, but Stipe's the man. But no, I don't think Stipe stands a chance. And I think that's why Stipe is not going to fight Aspinall, because I think Aspinall beats him too. And so Stipe is going to go out either beating the greatest he's ever been or losing to the greatest he's ever been.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, Aspinall and Jones. Speaking of that,
I don't think the fight will ever happen.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think Aspinall's got a good enough shot to beat Jones. He's far bigger than Jones, and he's good too. I mean, he's not a bad guy. Good grappling, good striking. I think he could beat Jones. Jones, at the end of his career, he doesn't want to lose to the next generation of guy, so he's got to fight. He's got to fight Stipe.
Stipe and retire.
Yeah, and retire, and then both of them will walk off into the sunset. Both of them will be considered some of the greatest that have ever been.
Dude, that's awesome.
Dang, that's a great point.
I know.
Actually.
Seriously.
Dang. So for you, do you plan on finishing out your career at Karate Combat? Do you see yourself going back to MMA at all?
No idea. I love Karate Combat. I'm gonna stay with them for as long as I can afford to stay with them. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, nobody pays as well as the UFC. But my first fight with Karate Combat, I did make more money with that than I did my first fight with the UFC. So that was incredible. I was like, oh my God, that's great. Now the second fight with Karate Combat, I did not make more money than I did with the UFC in my second fight, which is fine. I didn't get the knockout. The UFC pays what the UFC pays. But as long as I can afford to fight and provide for my family and, be able to take trips to California for 2 weeks to finish my training camps, I plan on fighting for as long as I can.
Next time you come out, we got to come meet up with you and do a live interview.
Sounds great. I'm in. I love it.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, man.
Little aside, go ahead. Little aside from it, what is your greatest life accomplishment, would you say?
Oh, my kids. Yeah, my kids. My wife had something to do with it, so she counts also. But no, it's like there's not a close second. I've got a ranch and a house and horses and stuff. I fought around the world, beaver shot it. No, I would throw all of that away in a second for a moment with my kids.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if you saw my DM on Instagram, but I was like, hey, if you have time, I want you to put together a top 5 karate athletes of all time. Doesn't matter if they were in Bellator, UFC, Karate Combat, doesn't matter what it is.
Oh, yeah.
You see that?
We've got to start with the GOAT, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, number one man. He killed the rest of my list with one roundhouse kick. It's just the way it is. Raymond Daniels is my number 2. I love that man. He is the most entertaining striker that has ever been. And he's the only guy I've ever sparred with that made me want to be a wrestler. I only survived the round by his graces. After him, we got to go with Wonder Boy. He's just about, if I'm a nice guy, he's a saint. He's just someone who has been able to be such a well-rounded, well-intentioned human being and so talented is just incredible. Yeah. So that was 3. Who am I at 4?
Steven
Seagal's kind of a joke. Machina's got to be on the list. He's just kind of the guy introduced karate to the UFC.
Yes, he did.
Successfully. I think he was 13-0 before he ever lost his first round. And it was just a cool way to, a cool stat. I remember he was fighting, what was his name? He's fighting somebody else who was 13-0. They're both 13-0. And Machida was losing the round, but knocked the boy out in the last 15 seconds of the fight. And it was like, oh my God, this is great. Was it Vera? Maybe it was Vera. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
I'm not too sure.
But I remember the build-up to that fight. They were both 13-0. And they had both earned that 13-0. They had both become 13-0 in the UFC.
Okay.
And the build-up was just incredible. So if he's my number 4, who's my number 5? Raymond Daniels. I tell you what, Ross Levine, he's grown on me. The guy I just fought.
Yeah.
He's an enjoy. He's very talented. He's the fastest guy I've ever fought. And he put up a hell of a fight. I was limping for a few days and he broke my hand. They broke my hand with his face.
That's cool, man. So that's your top 5. Yeah, I was watching the highlights of the guy he fought. He's quick, good counter striker, good footwork.
He is. He was legit. I had to rely on being bigger than him to win, but it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, you pulled it. Your game plan worked for sure, brother. Well, hey, man, that's pretty much all I got. Do you got anything else?
Not at the moment. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for us. But yeah, man, we really appreciate you hopping on, man. We're gonna be following you from here on out. If you're fighting anywhere near us, yeah, we've been following you. If you're gonna be fighting anywhere near us, we'll definitely be there, and hopefully we can stay in touch and make some of these happen.
Well, I appreciate that. And hey, my YouTube, I'm growing that as fast as I can right now. If you guys aren't following, you should follow it. I'm posting stuff, 4 or 5 videos a week. I'm just really trying to grow. I just got it monetized like the week of my fight. So, hey, yeah, I'm thrilled with it. I've sparred Sean Strickland. I have 6 rounds with him. I'm posting it on the day of his fight. So,
I wanted to ask, how is it?
The morning of his fight, I'm posting my rounds of Sean Strickland.
I love that.
How is it with that guy in person? Because we see his interviews,
He's the exact same in person as his. There's no difference.
That's cool, man. Hey, real quick, actually, question before I let you go. What does it take to monetize a channel? Because one of my big goals for this year is I want to monetize this channel.
You need 1,000 followers and you need 4,000 viewed hours.
Viewed hours, 4,000 viewed hours, and 1,000 followers.
Yeah, it's all. A lot of people have a problem getting the 1,000 followers. Being as I was in the UFC, I kind of got a big spike at the end there.
Pretty easy.
4,000 hours is hard for me. You got to continuously come up with ideas and stuff that people want to watch, and you'll find the analytics of it, and people will watch for like 3 minutes and then cut out. And you got to find a way to keep them entertained for the whole time.
Yeah.
And do you have a guy that does that with you, or do you?
No, it's just me. It's just
Dude, that's awesome, bro.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and who knows if I become the next Chael Sonnen, maybe that'll be my retirement from fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
There you go, man. There you go, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Alvey, Karate Combat Heavyweight Champion of the World, brother. We appreciate you so much again. Again, Putasos Podcast. If you guys aren't already following, follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Follow Sam Alvey
Follow
on
Sam Alvey
YouTube,
on his YouTube channel.
Instagram.
Get this man paid. Get him in retirement.
What's your YouTube? Is it Sam Alvey?
Smilin Sam Alvey, it's all on there.
Hey, real quick, you saw the smiley face on the back of the head?
No, it's shaved off.
All right, man. Well, this is Putasos Podcast, episode number 15. We are